In this video, we'll be going over how to find the rate of change given a function. Well, the basic form of rate of change is f of x minus f of c over x minus c, where x1 is just c and x2 is just x. So now let's go ahead and do some practice problems. The first practice problem is f of x equals x cubed on the interval of -1, 3. So let's start out, and remember, it is c and x. And remember, the basic form is f of x minus f of c over x minus c. So now let's just substitute in our values and see what we get. So the first part is f of x. So that means we substitute in our x value of 3 for this function and see what we get, and then substitute that in for this f of x value. So we have f of 3 equals x cubed. We substitute in 3. So we get 3 cubed, and we get 27. So now we know that f of x is 27, and we can just substitute that in, minus f of c, and f of c, our c value for x, is -1. So we substitute this -1 in as c, and substitute that into our equation. So then we have f of -1 equals x cubed, and then we have -1 cubed. So we get -1 minus -1, minus is plus, so let's just rewrite that down here. So we have 27 plus 1. Now let's do our denominator. We just got done with our numerator. So now we have x minus c. We said x is 3 from up here, from our interval, and we said c is -1. So we have 3 minus -1. Let's write that down here. 3 minus -1. This becomes 3 plus 1 in our denominator. So let's just rewrite that right here. So we have 27 plus 1 over 4. 27 plus 1 over 4 is 28 over 4, which is just 7. This means that the rate of change for the function f of x equals x cubed over the interval of -1, 3 is positive 7. Now let's go on to our second practice problem, which is h of x equals 3 minus 5x squared on the interval of -2, 4. So now again, the basic form for rate of change is f of x minus f of c over x minus c. So let's do what we just did in practice problem 1. So remember, it's cx. So that means that our x value is 4 and our c value is -2. So let's just do substitution and see what we get. And remember, our function is 3 minus 5x squared. So we have f of our x value, which is 4. F of 4 equals 3 minus 5x squared. So that means we have f of 4 equals 3 minus 5 times 4 squared. So this means that we have 3 minus 5 times 16, which is 80. So we have f of 4 equals that. So 3 minus 80 is -77. Okay, so that means we have f of x becomes -77. So now we have -77 minus f of c. Now let's just do f of c. So f of c, our c value was -2. So let's substitute in -2 as x for the equation. So now we have f of -2 equals 3 minus 5x squared. Substitute in that -2. So then we get 3 minus 5 times -2 squared. -2 squared is just 4. So then we get 3 minus 5 times 4, which is just 3 minus 20, meaning -17. So that means f of c is -17. So this can just be written as -77 plus 17. So let's do our denominator, which is x minus c. We said our x value is 4, and our c value is -2. So it's 4 minus -2, so we have 4 minus -2. That becomes, our denominator can be simplified to 4 plus 2, which is just 6. And then our numerator is -77 plus 17, which is -60. That means our final answer is -10. That is the rate of change for the function h of x equals 3 minus 5x squared on the interval of -2, 4. We have a negative rate of change of 10. Now let's go to the final practice problem for this video, which is g of x equals 3x squared plus 3 onto an interval of 1 comma a. The a may be confusing to most people, but let's see what happens. So remember, it is cx, and the base form is f of x minus f of c over x minus c. So now we're going to do the same substitution we did in the last two problems, but now we have a variable, so let's go ahead and see what happens. So we have f of x, and our x value is a, so we have f of a, and we substitute an a as our x value into the equation, meaning that we have f of a equals 3 times a squared. We're just following this form up here and substituting a in for x. So we have 3a squared plus 3, and that is f of x, or f of a now. So that means we have 3a squared plus 3, and this can't be simplified, so we're just going to do f of x becomes 3a squared plus 3, so that's that, minus f of c, and f of c, our c value is 1, so that means we have f of c, and f of c is f of 1, and that becomes 3 times 1 squared plus 3, 1 squared is just 1, 3 times 1 plus 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. So that means we have 3a squared plus 3 minus our f of c, which was just 6, over x minus c. Our x value was a, and our c value was 1. So we have a minus 1. So let's go ahead and go down here. So that means we have 3a squared plus 3 minus 6 over a minus 1. Now let's go on to see if we can combine our whole numbers and then see if we can simplify. So we have 3 minus 6, which are both whole numbers, and they don't have variables. So we have 3 minus 6, which is just negative 3. And then in front of that, we have 3a squared plus this negative 3, which is just 3a squared minus 3, over a minus 1. Well, we can see that we can actually simplify by dividing the numerator by a minus 1, which leaves us with 3a, because this a gets rid of this 2 in our exponent, in our numerator, and then we have negative 3 divided by negative 1, which gives us a positive 3. The final answer, or the final rate of change, for the equation g of x equals 3x squared plus 3 on an interval of 1 comma a is 3a plus 3. I hope this video helped, and if you believe it did, please consider to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you believe this video helped you, and leave a comment for future video recommendations. Thank you.